Hello, sixth graders. Mrs. Wagner here. This video is going to go over the task cards that I referenced in yesterday's video when you did Lesson 6 notebook. We are now ready to decide what the land should become. So the committee has come up with 4 different ideas: a soccer field, a water park, a rain garden, and a playground. Okay. And so we have figured out for them that if we decrease the amount of concrete, we increase the amount of plants, we can reduce runoff. So that's the biggest thing, is reducing runoff, because we found that that is a faster pathway of water into the stream, and that's what's causing the flooding, the parking lot, and the lack of trees to kind of absorb up that water and through transpiration cause the water to go into the atmosphere. Okay. Uh, and also, we learned that if water can infiltrate into the ground, that's a slower pathway. Okay, so we want to increase infiltration, we want to increase the amount of plants, and we want to decrease the type of surface that's going to cause more runoff on the surface of the land. Okay, so that's the idea. So based on what we learned and what we've told them about what causes the stream to flood, these are the ideas that they have come up with. Okay, so I'm going to go through the criteria and constraint checklist. So yesterday in the video, we learned that criteria is what we would like in the solution, and we can rate criteria. So the criteria could be a low rating, or it could have a high rating based on what it would create or how the solution would solve the problem. Okay, I gave you the example of my daughter buying a car yesterday, and one of her criteria was that she wanted low miles. She didn't want high miles on her car. So if a car has 30,000 miles on a car, this might be a car she's looking at, she might rate that high because 30,000 miles is not very many miles. And she might give that a higher rating. Maybe she would give that a 3. Whereas if she's looking at a car and it has 120,000 miles on it, she might give that a lower score, maybe a 1 or a 2. Okay. Okay. And then we talked about constraints. So constraints are things that would stop us from picking that particular solution. Okay. And most likely it's going to be cost. So if it's too expensive, if it goes over the budget, that's a constraint. We would click no. And that is not a solution that we would be able to use. Okay. Or we would be able to recommend for them. All right. So here are the criteria. We want to make sure it minimizes runoff, it maximizes infiltration, it maximizes transpiration. We also needed to make sure, the owner said, it has to benefit the community. So we have to make sure it's got some recreational opportunities so people will come visit it. We want to maximize safety. They decided that no matter what it is, it needs to be safe for the community. We don't want a bunch of injuries. And it's going to benefit the community. They talked about the economics of the community. If people come to the area, that they're going to shop in the local shops and spend money, and that will benefit the community. Okay. Here are the constraints. So these are the yeses and nos. Any solution must decrease stream flooding. Like, there's no negotiation there. Any solution must be completed within 3 years. So they've given that as a constraint. Can't be a super long-term project. Any solution must be built within the watershed boundaries. So it's got to be within the land that's been given right around the stream. And any solution must cost less than $800,000. Okay, so we'll go back up and we'll take a look at the information. So from the information, we can do the ratings and we can do the yeses and nos. So this first one is the soccer field. Okay, this would replace the parking lot. So it's very important to read exactly what's going to happen here. So a soccer field to be built, replacing the parking lot side. So the other side would still be a field. And this side would now, instead of a parking lot, would be a soccer field. Okay? So it says the parking lot side of the lot will be completely converted into a soccer field that can be used by the community. The new land surface will be nearly all grass. with small areas of gravel for parking. The parking lot replacement would cost $400,000. Okay, well, right away, we could probably answer one of the things on the constraints because cost of the project was one of the constraints. So this project is $400,000 and they had said it needs to be less than 800. So we could actually put an X there. Yeah, it meets that constraint, okay? All right, the design stays within the watershed boundaries. Okay, that was a constraint. So we'll put an X there. All right, the surface runoff decreases. So that is important. We want runoff to decrease. In the soccer field, it will, to 30%. So this would be one that's in the criteria. So 30%. Well, this says if it's 40% or greater runoff, it only receives a 1. That means that if it still is going to have 40% or more of runoff, then it wouldn't be great. It would be a 1. Less than 40%, but more than 20% runoff would be a 2. If it brings it down to 20% or less runoff, that's good. That would be a 3. So this says surface runoff decreases to 30%. So we're right in the middle. So that's a 2. Maximizing infiltration. Let's see if we'll keep reading, see if we can get anything there. Infiltration. All right. Infiltration increases. Well, that's good, to 40%. So if it maximizes infiltration, if it says 20% or less of water infiltration, that means that 20% of the water will infiltrate. That's not good. That's a 1. More than 20%, but less than 50% of the water infiltrates into the ground. That's a 2. If it's 50% or more of the water infiltrating, going into the ground, that's the best. So that's a 3. Okay, well, this says infiltration increases to 40%. So it's not a 1 and it's not a 3. So it's right in the middle again. So we'll give it a 2. Maximize transpiration. See if we can get that one. Yeah, there it is. Transpiration increases to 30%. Well, grass is plants. So we can get it to go up to 30%. All right, so 20% or less, that's a 1. 20 to 40, that's a 2. 40% or more, that's a 3. Again, the 30 is right in the middle of 20 and 40, so that's a 2. Recreational opportunities. Okay, let's keep reading. Social impacts. Safe to use at all times. I remember that being a constraint. Oh, no, it's in the criteria. So safe to use at all times. Okay, so let's read the criteria. Safe to use with supervision, safe to use with additional equipment, or safe to use without taking any additional precautions. And this says safe to use at all times. So we can give that a 3. Okay, benefits 50% of the population. Allows for soccer only. Okay, so there's not a whole lot to do there other than play soccer. Okay, so that might be something limiting. And the economic impacts includes some park amenities such as water fountains, benches, and bleachers, and constructed in 1.5 years. Okay, I remember something in the constraints about time. This says 1.5 years. It will be done. And any solution must be completed within 3. So that's a yes. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's finish out our criteria. Maximize safety. We did that one, right? Isn't that one a 3? Okay. I think I skipped recreational opportunities. So let's go back. Allows only one age group and one new type of activity. Allows more than one age group or more than one new type of activity. That would be a 2. It allows people of all ages and more than one type of new type of activity. Okay, so we're looking at benefits 50% of the population of all ages and allows for soccer only. Well, all ages, but only 50% of the population, and allows for soccer only. So I think that would be a 2. Because it allows all ages. So that would not be a 1, because 1 says allows only one age group. And in the soccer field would allow all. But the only activity it will give us is soccer. So we're going to give that a 2. Okay, the safety, that's a 3. And then benefits the community, it stated 50% of the population. So only half of the community can really use it, or it will benefit, I should say. So we'll give that a 2. Okay, so now we add up the score. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's make sure I added that up correctly. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. And any solution must decrease stream flooding. Well, we've increased transpiration, we've increased infiltration, and we've decreased runoff. So that is going to help with the flooding. It's going to decrease flooding. So we can say yes. Okay, so could the soccer field be a successful solution for the parking lot? It could. So yes, the soccer field could be a successful solution. Because it meets all of the constraints. Okay, now, does it have the best rating in the criterias? No. Does it have the worst rating in the criteria? No. Okay, so maximum for criteria would be, let's see, how many categories are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's 6 times 3? Because 3 would be the highest rating. That's 18. So it has a score 13 out of 18. I'm going to add that here. So criteria score is 13 out of 18. So when we get to some other solutions, if another solution meets all the constraints, then we can kind of compare the rating, okay, and see if there's another one that would be better because the rating is higher in the criteria. So we'll see. Okay, so let's go to the green roof of the water park. So the water park, an indoor water park that has a green roof on top, that would replace the parking lot. Okay, so we'd still have the field, but again, we're going to replace the parking lot. All right, so the parking lot side of the lot will be completely converted into an indoor water park with a green vegetated roof and a parking lot that can be used by the community. The new land surface will be covered by 70% vegetation. The building is included as vegetation because of the rooftop garden and 30% pavement. Okay, so the parking lot replacement is $1,200,000. Well, unfortunately, it is not going to meet that constraint. Okay. Its design does stay within the watershed boundaries. How long will it take? 3.3 years. So no, it's going to take longer than the allotted time. And what about decreasing stream flooding? We don't know yet. Okay, so the surface runoff decreases to 30%. So again, that's right in the middle, so that's a 2. The infiltration increases to 40. So that's a 2. The transpiration increases to 30%. That's a 2. Recreational opportunities. It's safe to use with required supervision. It benefits 75% of population, all ages, allows for multiple types of activities. It includes park amenities. Okay. Recreational, all ages, and allows multiple types of activities. So we'll give that a 3. Maximizing safety. Need to have supervision. So that's a 1. And it benefits 75% of the community. Well, it's got a high rating there. So let's add these up. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this one gets a 13 out of 18. We got a problem here with the constraints, right? It will decrease flooding because of increasing the infiltration, increasing transpiration, and decreasing runoff. But the constraints stop it. So we've got 2 no's, and that means this is not going to be a successful solution. So no, because it does not meet all of the constraints. Now, maybe they can build a water park somewhere else. But according to the criteria and constraints set up in this particular scenario, this cannot be on this, a water park cannot be on this land. Okay, so I'm going to let you do the next 2. Okay, this is a unit challenge scenario card. The next 2 are about replacing the field. Okay, a playground and a rain garden. Okay, so on one side, we're looking at what could replace one side, the parking lot, what could replace the other side, which is the field. Okay, I think we got our answer about the parking lot, right? We have a yes for the soccer field and a no for the water park. So now you're going to use the same process that I just went through with you to do the indoor water. Nope, we just did that one. Sorry. Oop, let's keep going. To do the epic playground, replacing the field. Okay. And then also, so there's your criteria and constraints for the epic playground. And then also the rain garden. And then we've got to figure out what this land is going to be. So do the last 2, fill out this document, turn it in when you're done, and then tomorrow we'll go back to the notebook and finish out that last slide and talk about, did we figure out what the land should become? Okay, based on this criteria and constraint list. Okay, email me if you have questions.